What's up, everybody? I wanted to put some real information out there. Well, in my opinion, some real information out there on the stimulus package. I guess now we have to go through the House, so it's been approved, or they have changed it a little bit at the Senate and approved that, and now it has to go back to the House for the final approval on Tuesday. I'm seeing a ton of videos on YouTube, stimulus package update, stimulus package update, stimulus package update, stimulus package update. And I felt like going live and dropping a video on my perspective of the stimulus package here, what I'm doing to prepare for the effects of the stimulus package, and what I'm looking for right now in the market as it seems to be getting closer and closer to actually, booping $1,400 into everyone's phone. There's a lot of different things to be taking a closer look on. The one thing I'm looking at very close right now is the dollar index. I'm looking very close on the effect on precious metals. I want to see what the market does with commodities in general, because another 1.9 trillion. The thing is, and by the way, this all here is for more than just clickbait and eye candy. It is clickbait and eye candy. Just be honest, let's get that out of the way. This right here, though, all of these $100 bills are just studio money. It's just studio money. I'd never have that much fiat. You guys know me better than that. I'm a silver squirrel to the core. Not going to have any more fiat. Nothing like that. But the reason I put this here is because I wanted to basically go over my opinion of the stimulus package and what I think it will do to the world, and just kind of share some real knowledge, or my opinion, I guess, on this subject. I've always considered money to be something that should be hard to get. Money should be something that's hard to get. So why do we consider these silver bars money, or this gold bar money? It had to be mined. Somebody had to put in the work. Somebody had to mine it, refine it, and then put it into this bullion bar right here. And then we have these silver bars and we have this gold bar here. What labor was involved in just saying, here's 1.9 trillion? What labor was involved there? That's my question. It's like there was none. This went through these two. It went through the House, it went through the Senate, and they can't even figure it out. It takes them, like, really, if you divide how much money this is, and I don't want to be taken the wrong way by everybody. I don't want to basically act like I don't care, or that this gets taken the wrong perspective. People are out here struggling. People are really struggling right now. But the amount of money that we should have been given as citizens, in comparison to how much got funneled away into all these different avenues, is ridiculous, in my opinion. You shouldn't have. It wasn't 1,400 that you should have got. It was 5,000. I believe it was supposed to be like 5,500 if it actually went directly to the people and didn't get funneled away into different places. So of all of this, the trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars printed by the Fed, fractions of it actually got to the people. And it's very sad to see. So not only was this money created out of thin air, but the people didn't actually get what they were supposed to get. And it takes them, these individuals are getting paid over $100,000 a year at the Senate and the House, and they can't even get it through. They can't even figure it out. And they're getting paid to do this. It's like it's the craziest game of bingo over there I've ever seen. None of them understand anything in the monetary system, including Powell, including Yellen, any of them at the House, any of them at the Senate. It's just mind-boggling to me. And again, this is just my opinion. Disclaimer. Could be completely wrong. This is just education based on my opinion. But it hurts to not see the real information getting put out there. And the real information is there's nothing free in this world. There's nothing free in this world. You got to make a choice, and it's free stuff or freedom. You can't have both. You can't have both. You take free stuff, you lose your freedom. What happened back in, the days of the mob, You take money from them, and what did you lose? You lost your freedom. So the more free stuff that gets poofed into the economy, all I see from that is rising prices in gas, rising prices in commodities across the board. That's not just silver and gold. That's just rising prices of everything because the dollar has been dramatically diluted. And I know the argument. The argument is the dollar is the least dirty shirt in the dirty hamper of fiat currencies. So they're all dirty shirts. They're all back to nothing. They're all notes of debt. But the dollar is the best of them. And I just don't know how much longer that argument is going to hold water before it just breaks a leak. I just don't know how much longer it's going to be okay. Or other countries, other superpowers out there are going to be comfortable with the reserve currency just diluting their currency at will. There is no fractional reserve banking. So where does this 1.9 trillion go? It goes into JP Morgan's pocket. And now they're just doing it digitally. You don't even have to cash the check now. You don't even have to cash the check. They just boop it right into the account. And so who really is going to push for that? Yeah, Jamie Dimon's going to push for that. Yeah, these banks are going to push for it because that money gets put right into their account. And then they can give out loans on that money. And then meanwhile, it's basically a free $1.9 trillion loan to the banks at 0 point whatever interest that they want to give you for your money. So when you give them the $1,400 check, they have your $1,400, right? But what are they giving you in interest on that money? They just got a free loan from you pretty much. For not even pennies on the dollar. Not even pennies on the dollar. That we laugh about that here on the channel because we don't even get pennies on the dollar. The term used to be, I'm going to make pennies on the dollar. I'm going to get nothing out of this. The banks won't even give you a penny on the dollar per year. Not even a penny on the dollar. Not even 1%. They're going to give you a fraction of a penny on the dollar for your money. So this money, this 1.9 trillion goes into the banks. The banks then give out unlimited loans at their discretion on this. And then what are they going to charge you on your loan? You want a loan for a house? You want a loan for whatever it is that you need a loan for? You think they're going to give you 0.01% or whatever it is that they give us? No, they're going to charge us at least minimum 5%, maybe even more. And then all the credit cards, you factor all the other things into perspective. So they are getting free capital to leverage and make interest on and then pay us no interest on our money and enjoy this 0% interest rate. And if Yellen, the way I can say that Yellen doesn't truly believe the dollar's strong and Powell doesn't truly believe the dollar's strong is they're not going to raise the interest rates. If they really genuinely believe that the dollar is strong, keep in mind, Yellen has gone out multiple times thinking, we think the dollar is going to get stronger. We think the dollar is going to get stronger. The dollar index seems to show that. The dollar index seems to be continuously going up, even though they've diluted it as much as they've diluted it. But if they really believe that, I go by actions. I don't care about the words and all the things they say on, with the whole, all that game. I care about actions. What are your actions? And truth, the actions are they won't raise the interest rates because they know the dollar is not strong. And if they raise the interest rates, everything would plummet. And that is how you can catch them in their bluff. That's how you call their bluff. You say, okay, well, raise the interest rates, pal. Hey, everybody at the Fed, go raise your interest rates then. If you think the dollar is strong, go raise the interest rates. You'll be fine, right? They won't. They won't do it. They're not gonna. And it's just really sad that the real information is out there. So why do I have this funny money over here? This is studio prop money. This is real. That's where I'd actually have this money. But I think it is going to continue to cost more and more of these diluted dollars here to buy commodities like this. And the real burden of these stimulus packages is the raising price of your milk at the grocery store, the rising of the price of your gas, the rising price of all commodities across the board. Now, silver's been artificially suppressed for a very long time, but it seems that at some point, something's got to give. Something's got to give. And if there's one thing I can do on this channel, and let me get this out of the way because I don't want people to get the wrong impression to be like, yeah, look at him with all the money on there. It's like, no, this is studio money. It's actually pretty good quality studio money. You almost can't tell the difference. You almost can't tell the difference. Might as well be the same thing. They're both made by just printing it. Anyway, jokes aside, it's a very serious matter, and I wanted to basically give my perspective on it. And I just don't think that people the best way to say it is the more free stuff you take, the less freedom you have. And the more free stuff that gets given out, what people don't understand is the hidden tax on us all is inflation. And and I don't know about you, but I'm seeing my gas prices rising. I'm seeing commodities costing more money. So what's that going to do? It means your groceries are going to cost more money. It means your gas is going to cost more money. It means all these different things across the board are going to cost more money. And what's sad is, although the dollar is diluted and the inflation is going up with the dollar, well, now you have to understand that most people are in a deflationary position with their wages. So if you make, say, $5,000 a month or $4,000 a month or $3,000 a month, do you see your wages getting inflated at the same rate that the dollar's been getting inflated? And the fact is, no. Most wages are staying the same. If not, they might be losing jobs. And so because of that, you see a deflationary environment on wages and an inflationary environment on the currency that you're being paid with on your deflationary wages. It's completely backwards and unfair. So it's very sad to see. In my opinion, that I see all these YouTube videos just kind of regurgitating the same information out there, and I'd like to go against the grain and just say my true feeling on it, and I'm not for it. I'm not for it, and I don't think my personal opinion is I think it hurts more than it helps. And so when they say things like help is on the way, I think that the better thing is temporary help for a long-term burden. Very, very, very temporary help for a very, very long-term burden is what I think is the truth of the matter. And that's just my personal opinion. And I've always told everybody that chooses to subscribe to my channel that I will always genuinely tell my personal feel on something. And so how does this relate to the stock market? The way I relate this to the stock market is I want to see on Tuesday when it seems like it's inevitable. It hasn't gone through completely yet. It has to be reapproved by the House now. Because Lord knows they can't agree on anything. They got to go back and forth and get paid a bunch of money to do this over between the House and the Senate. Lord knows they got to get paid, while everybody else is struggling, they get their checks. I guarantee you that, every single one of them over there gets their checks. They get paid very well to play bingo, by the way. Very, very well paid bingo players. I've never seen a higher paid group of bingo players in my entire life, like extremely, extremely well paid bingo players. But I just can't stress that enough, how well paid these bingo players really are. But what the ultimate thing that I'm looking at in the stock market is, does it actually go up on this news? Do people really think that these stimmy checks are going to get the tendies and all these little jokey terms that they've been coming out with? Are these stimulus checks going to actually bump up the prices of stocks? So what I'm looking for at market open is I want to see if the stock market is flat, because my personal opinion on it is I think it's a sell the news type situation. I think people are going to be dumping. That's just my personal feel on it. So if that doesn't go against the grain, I don't know what does. I personally don't see stocks going up off of the 1.9 trillion stimulus package. I think the news was already baked in, and I don't think it's going to be going up. I think if anything, what I'm looking for in the stock market is for it to stay flat. It's going to probably, in my personal opinion, this is just my opinion, not fact, not a financial advisor. I think the stock market stays somewhat flat, if not slightly up. But I think inevitably people want to play hot potato, and they want to get rid of the hot potato and sit on the sidelines and wait to figure out what happens here. And I think that the overall picture of the dollar, eventually all the smoke and mirrors will fade away, and you'll see, what it really is, what's actually happening here. And I think people will realize just how diluted the dollar has become. And what I want to really stress too is, how do other countries feel about our ability to just dilute our currency like this? Because we are the reserve currency. We are the currency that all the countries look at and accept as the reserve currency. How do they feel that the reserve currency can just digitally inject money at will? I wouldn't be feeling like that was very cool. I wouldn't be thinking that was right if I was the other countries. And so for right now, what is the dollar index? Well, the dollar index is the basket of fiat currencies and how they see the dollar. That's basically what the dollar index is. And for right now, if you can believe it, after the news that the stimulus package is likely going to go through, the dollar is actually up 16 cents. It's up past 92 right now, if you can believe that. And if that doesn't scream smoke and mirrors, I don't know what does. I don't know what does. Because up is down, down is up. Doesn't make any sense. But in my personal opinion, the dollar is more diluted than ever before. And I say my opinion just to be safe, but let's be real. It's diluted. It's very diluted. And I don't know how long people are going to want to be sitting on dollars. So I'm looking at how fast do people want to start moving out of the stock market and moving out of the dollar into, safe havens. Bitcoin might actually be considered a safe haven now of the digital realm. Silver is a safe haven and always has been a safe haven since forever, pretty much. Same thing with gold. I think silver has a bigger return, and I'm very curious to see what happens. I mean, silver's up quite a bit right now. I'm looking at the chart right now. Silver's up 37 cents right now. And when I say quite a bit, it should be up a lot more than that. But we can't really tell exactly until the U.S. market opens. Usually we see much more large movements when the U.S. market opens. But I'm looking for, the main thing I wanted to get across too is just, I think that people will have gotten this false perception of what money is. Like it's something that should just be given out for free. You ever meet that person that was self-made versus the person that, their parents gave them all their money? They woke up in the morning, had a nice bed, had, everything handed to them on a silver platter. They have their place paid for. They get paid to go through college, all this stuff. They don't have any real perception of money, and they're often kind of in a struggle trying to figure out how to navigate the real world, because the real world is cold. The real world doesn't have mommy and daddy to pay your bills. And as you see it when kids come back from college, they're just like completely lost to money and the reality of life, because you don't have the perception of working hard for something. You don't have the perception of actually putting in the labor to get this reward. And we unfortunately live in this economy where we don't produce stuff with labor. If you make money in the stock market, there wasn't really labor there. There wasn't really labor there. It's just digitally, we live in this society that everybody thinks that money just grows on trees. And it's crazy that the effects haven't happened yet. But just like in 2007, nobody thought it was going to happen. I remember Peter Schiff was on every single show warning them, hey, the housing bubble is a serious thing. This is a very serious thing. It's going to collapse. And people would laugh at them. And right now, guys like me who might be, opposed to the stimulus package or, believe that the dollar is extremely diluted and silver's going to go up, they might think of me as, oh, you're just a silver pumper. You're a silver pumper. People that know me know I really have my money where my mouth is with silver. It's because I know the labor involved in getting those items. I would rather have my money parked in something that was hard to get. And I think that more and more people are going to realize, oh, I'm sitting on something that they can print at will. They can print this at will. That's a problem. You can't just say, oh, we want a bunch more silver in the environment. We're running low on silver. We might get short squeezed on silver. Just poof it into the system here. Just poof it right into the COMEX. Jamie Dimon goes up. Yeah, please just poof a bunch of silver right into the COMEX. We're running short on silver. It just bothers me. The whole situation bothers me. And I want to at least be able to give out some real information to everybody that is subscribe to this page and in our little community here. I appreciate you guys being here so much, and just the support I've gotten and everything. It means a lot to me. So I wanted to vent to everybody as I'm seeing more. It's just, I keep seeing these videos on the stimulus package for clickbait. And now it's like, that's what I'm doing right now. But the difference is I'm not here just to tell you, well, okay, well, they said this over at the Senate and they said that over at the House of Representatives. And then this, and that happened. And now if you make this much, you get this. And if you get, I see that same video I've seen 100 times, like 100 times today. The same exact video. And I don't really see anybody talking about, okay, what is the actual effect of this going to be? What's the effect of taking free money? And the real effect is more power to the banks, free loans to the banks, while they give us nothing. Where does that, like, the $1,400 doesn't just appear in front of you. It gets digitally injected into a bank that you gave them that free loan, because they're not giving you any money. That's how you know that you're not getting the better part of the deal, because the bank gets the money to leverage. They're leveraging that money and making a ton of money leveraging that money. Of course, Jamie Dimon is going to push for this. Of course, these big bank CEOs are going to push for this, because they get this capital to leverage, and then they don't turn to you and go, you know what? We get all this capital and I know you guys are really in a struggle. Like, look at how sickening these banks are. If you really want to take it apart for what it is, they don't come to the citizens and go, okay, I know you guys are really in the struggle and you're letting us hold your money right now. And we make a lot of money holding your money. So we're going to bump the interest rates back to what they used to be, prior to the dollar being so diluted, up to 5% a year. Why don't we give you 5-10% a year on your money? Because we actually get to leverage this money, and we're making loans with this money. We're making a lot of money off your money. So why don't we share the wealth with you and raise your interest rates on your savings accounts? But this would be if they had a heart. This would be if Jamie Dimon and the people in charge of the big banks actually, had a heart and actually cared a little bit. But they don't do that. They give you not even a penny on the dollar. So the term pennies on the dollar doesn't even apply. Pennies, yeah, pennies on the dollar would imply like a 2-3% interest rate. But then they don't give anything on the dollar. They give a fraction of a penny on the dollar to us annually at the banks, while they get the free money to play with. And that's the sickening part. That's the sickening part. And at the same time, while they get to hold this money and make all of this money off this money, all of our prices of gas, all of our prices of all of the groceries we get is just going to be going up. Rent prices will be going up. Everything will be going up. And at the same time, they're not going to be giving us any interest on our money to hold the money. So what is that scenario? Knowing all of that, what happens there? Well, smart money wants to not work for money that they can print. Smart money doesn't want to work for money that can just be printed out of thin air. They want their own printing presses. They want their own business. So if you have your own business, well, now you have your own printing press to print your own money. Okay, well, that's a good thing. Well, now what is smart money going to do? We're going to go, oh, well, I've really had some big gains in the stock market. The stock market has been this big artificial money jump of the Fed injecting money into the stock market and pumping it and pumping it and pumping it full of air. Well, I think smart money is going to do what we saw over the last month. And they're getting out slowly but surely over the last month, even before the stimulus package. And this is the last live stream, what we talked about in the last live stream. You see them slowly getting out of the stock market. And the stock market has really been taking a beating over the last month. And so what do I think happens here? I think people sell the news. I might be one of the few people out there that really thinks that this stock market is a situation where the stimulus package won't help it. Because over the last month, we've just seen it slowly diffuse. And when everybody, in 2007, right before the crash, you saw more retail going into the stock market than ever before. That was, statistically speaking, there was more retail than ever before prior to 2007. At 2007, at that point, there had been a bunch of retail demand for stocks, and then the plummet happened. I think that those who are contrarians get rewarded sometimes. And in this situation here, I think there is going to be a huge flood of people that want free money and go, well, the stock market has to go up. Stonks, Dave Portnoy, stonks only go up. It's just stonks, it just goes up. Money's for free for everybody. There's going to be so many people thinking that. Oh, another stimulus package. The stocks have to go up. Let's go all in on the stock market. It has to go up. That to me, if it seems obvious, if it seems like that's what's going to happen, I usually do the opposite. I like to go against the grain. With the Dogecoin thing, everybody's talking about Dogecoin. I thought to myself, Tesla's probably going to buy Bitcoin. They wouldn't buy Dogecoin. And sure enough, that's what happened. And I got a lot of hate, a lot of flack for that. But you know what? That's what my gut told me. I don't care about the hype. I'm going to speak my genuine thoughts, what I genuinely feel on this. And my genuine feeling is that people are going to sell the news. And they would only do that if they were smart. And I don't think people that are big hedge funds are exactly not intelligent. They're pretty intelligent. So I think that these big hedge funds are going to start liquidating and taking profits on these highly overinflated stocks and looking to put that money into safe havens. And I don't really think the dollar is a safe haven. Despite what we're being told, the dollar is strong, the dollar index is going up. I don't think the dollar is a safe haven. And I look past all the smoke and mirrors, and I care more about their actions. And if they genuinely thought the stocks were going, or that the dollar was going to be strong, then they would raise the interest rates. And they won't. So Yellen, Powell, everyone at the Fed, I call your bluff. It's as simple as saying, okay, you think the dollar's strong? I call you all in. Raise the interest rates to 2%. Do you call? Powell? Do you call me? Because I think that you won't do it. Because if you did do it, the truth would come out that the dollar is extremely diluted and everything would crash. That's my personal take on it. That's what I have to say on it. But I wanted to make this video to share some information just on this whole subject. Wow, Corrupted back again. I appreciate you, man. He gave me $20. He says 1% control the world, 4% are sellout puppets, 90% are oblivious, 5% know and are trying to make the 90% aware. And the 1% don't want the 5% waking up to the 90%. So the 1% uses the 4% to try to shut the 5% up. It's pretty well said. It's pretty well said. And the sad part about that situation is the 90%, are going to be people that are jumping on Robinhood, people that are jumping on stocks and just pushing this money right in the stock market because they think, stocks only go up and it's going to be easy. And that's what happened in 2007. Everybody jumped. Everyone was pushing to go into the stock market. Literally, statistically speaking, there was more retail demand for stocks in 2007 than ever before. Yet the stock market collapsed because that's when you realized, oh, well, the 1% can drop this on the 90% whenever they want. They have way more control of stocks than any amount of retail. Yeah, we can bundle together and get them to, and this is what happened with GameStop. People can bundle together and really catch them slipping on one stock. But in the grand scheme of things, they're in control and they can drop it whenever they want, And I doubt that these big hedge funds are going to be thinking, yeah, right now is a great time to be in these overly inflated stocks when the dollar is at risk of losing reserve currency status. This is a great time to go into the U.S. stock market right now. Oh, it's a great time to hold dollars in the account. Great time. It's like, no, they're going to be looking for safe havens. They're going to be looking to put this money into safe haven places, whether that be more businesses. They might buy more businesses. So it's not just me pushing silver or pushing, precious metals. That's where I am. I'm in silver and platinum and Bitcoin. Those are my 3 top holdings. I've been very clear about that since this entire channel has been born. That's where I am. I think that those assets are all extremely undervalued. So I don't choose to hold dollars. I don't think holding dollars is a good choice, especially knowing that they can just make them at will. If this guy on your street corner, right, said, hey, I really need $10,000. And he came to your door and said, hey, I really need $10,000. I'm good for it. I promise you I'm good for it. Just please let me borrow $10,000. And you're like, let me think about it. But then they went to every single door across everybody in the entire neighborhood and got them to loan them $10,000. And then they came to you and he goes, or somebody goes, hey, what do you think about that guy's name? Should I loan him $10,000 myself? And in your mind, it's like, well, they have a lot of debt, a lot of it. I don't know if I wouldn't trust, I wouldn't want to, I'm going to keep my 10,000 actually. I found out he got a $10,000 loan from everyone in the neighborhood. I don't know if I trust him like that. I personally think that other countries see the dollar like that. I think other countries are like, yeah, I don't know about that. You know, I don't know about giving them a loan. It doesn't. They print this money at will. They do whatever they want over there, sort of thing. Their economy operates off of digital pixel money. Like their entire economy over there. It's like we're not producing things in the same way that we are digitally injecting things. An economy is supposed to be labor. You're supposed to make things. The economy is supposed to make things and then be paid for the things that you make. But we don't make anything. Everybody just wants tendies in the stock market. Everybody just wants easy money made out of thin air. And eventually bubbles pop. And I think that this is a sell the news type event. And I think the second it goes through on Tuesday, you might see a temporary little jump or it's staying flat. But I think inevitably over the next few months, we're going to see the stock market selling off. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that won't like me saying that. I know there's a lot of people that are big in the stock market right now, but I'm not interested in being involved in it. You know, I'm not interested because it can only be so long that people actually want to invest in a company with a 1000x price to earnings ratio, let alone if they're buying it with diluted dollars or they're being valued in a diluted currency. So it's like a double whammy. It's an overly hyped stock with a ridiculous price to earnings ratio that they'll never catch up to, and the dollar is diluted on top of that. So I feel like there's two things that can happen. Either the dollar crashes and stocks stay flat or go up due to it taking more dollars to buy a stock. The instrument crashes itself. So if you see, you know, Tesla at 600 and you see the dollar lose half its value and it goes from 92 down to 45 or 47 or 46, then your stock might stay flat at 600. It might stay at the same level, but realistically it's at 300. That stock that was 600 is now at 300 because the dollar lost half of its value. So the instrument that it's being valued in is diluted. So the stocks might stay flat while the dollar loses its value due to inflation. And I think that people's jobs are in a deflationary environment, and that's really the crime of it all. You know, wages aren't going up. If anything, they're staying kind of flat, or people are losing their jobs while the instrument that you're supposed to be being paid in is being inflated and diluted. It's like it's sickening. If you make $4,000 a month and you're continuously making $4,000 a month, but the dollar lost half of its buying power, but you still make $4,000 a month, you're really making $2,000 a month, but you're being told you're making $4,000 a month because the instrument has been diluted. You're not getting paid in silver. You're not getting paid in gold. You're getting paid in an ounce of silver. You're not getting paid in an ounce of gold, because then your wages would go up. And that's what it was meant to, that was designed to be. It was designed to be like that because the dollar used to be backed to precious metals. It used to be backed to gold and silver. So when you got paid your $4,000 a month or whatever that might be, your dollar was back to that metal. So if you actually got, you know, $4,000 in silver, you know, if you got, rather than saying actually dollars, if you just said, I get a 100-ounce silver bar per month, that's what I'm paid in, is a 100-ounce silver bar per month. Well, if the currencies were diluted, then you would be compensated for that because your commodity that you're paid in would rise in value due to the dilution of the currency. But the truth is you're getting paid in that diluted currency while your wages stay the same. It's it sounds complex, but it's really not. It's just, I hope I make some sort of sense and I just don't sound like a rambling person here. I just wanted to get some real information out there to the people, to all the people that click subscribe. If you want to be subscribed to this channel, this is the type of content I make on this channel. I really just kind of like to go live or shoot videos that I don't edit in any way, shape, or form, because I just feel that's the best way to do these. And sometimes I stutter, sometimes I might be rambling a little bit, but at least you know it's genuine and from the heart. And so I really appreciate all of you guys for being here. And I hope that we can make it through this in some way. And I hope that people can protect their assets, protect their families, and do the best they can to get through these troubling times that we're in. And the truth is, I see the $1,400 check as an insult to the people struggling. I don't want to be perceived as a person insulting you because you're going, I'm struggling. Why do you say the stimulus package is a bad idea? You know, I want people to understand that the $1,400 is an absolute insult from overly paid bingo players. Like ridiculously overly paid bingo players. It's an insult. And yes, I'm referring to the House of Representatives and the Senate when I say bingo players. That's what the silver squirrels call them. They are overly paid bingo players. And I'm just being honest about that. I'm sorry if I think it's funny, but it's hilarious, the bingo that's going on over there. It's just total bingo players. Silver Chase 21 says, Rob, I sold 12K in graded eagles. My plan is to buy 7,000 in ADA and 5,000 back in silver. My thoughts on that? Silver Chaser 21. I really appreciate the $10, man. Thank you for that. I do my best to not miss any of the super chats. ADA is something I've been hearing a lot about. Personally, I'm all in on Bitcoin. I'm only in Bitcoin. I have a little bit of Ethereum, but I'm mainly in Bitcoin because I just haven't seen the adoption from the altcoins that makes me confident in buying it. Now, maybe I'm late to it. Maybe there'll be an announcement from an Amazon or a Facebook of using ADA or using, Ethereum or whatever they might be using. And I missed the boat on that. But I want the confirmation prior to me putting my assets into it, if that makes sense. And I might miss out on a big gain by being that way. But at this point in the game, in the very beginning, I took a lot more risk, but at this point in my life, I would rather buy something with conviction and make a smaller percentage on a larger amount of capital. And it's taken a lot of maturity to do that. Like, I would rather put $1 million on silver to make 20% a year and make 200,000 on $1 million. Like, that gets me excited instead of making, taking $10,000 and turning it into 50,000 by making 500%. I would rather make 20% on a larger amount of capital than take an extremely big risk to make, 500% on a smaller amount of capital, because any millionaire out there, anybody that has a lot of money, they're not going to take a very big gamble on a larger amount of money. And that's the difference between buying something with conviction and taking more kind of risky speculative plays. And there's time for risky speculative plays, I think, in my opinion, but I just can't get into those with conviction. I'm just going to barely, dip my feet in the water and just test it out a little bit, but I just can't buy altcoins with conviction until I see a major adoption from a major institution, until I see announcements like Tesla bought 1.5 billion in Bitcoin. Michael Saylor owns 4.5 billion in Bitcoin. ARK Invest buying more Grayscale Trust. Until I see that happening with the ADA, with all these different altcoins, I'm not interested until that point. And I hope that helps in some way, but I really should make a video specifically about the difference between conviction and, taking more risky speculative plays. And there's a time for risky speculative plays, but I just can't put big capital behind it. And personally, I would rather buy silver with a lot of conviction. And so I can appreciate that you wanted more silver. You wanted more ADA than silver. Yeah, I wouldn't agree with that myself. But it's a great question, Silver Chaser, and that's my thoughts on it. And I wouldn't be able to do that with that much conviction myself. I could buy the silver. I could put the whole 12K in silver and not even lose any sleep at night. As a matter of fact, my net worth goes up tens of thousands of dollars based on silver's movements every week. I was just joking around with my friend Jay just a little bit before this live stream about that. It's like, yeah, I might miss out on $500 here, or something might sell for less money there, but my nerves are pretty fried based on how much fluctuations happen. I sleep well at night with physical precious metals. Like, I know what my silver is worth, and I know what it's going to be used on. And I know that inevitably, in my personal opinion, it has to go up. And I would rather make 10, 20, 30, 40%. Ironically enough, silver was the highest performing asset in the physical form other than Bitcoin. Bitcoin was the number one performing asset of 2020. Silver was not close second, but second. It's pretty big. It's pretty big that silver was, besides Bitcoin, was number one. Bitcoin was number one, but silver was next to it. Of the top performing assets of 2020, look it up. I think 2021 will show a similar picture. And I think silver will absolutely be a much larger return on investment than gold. I think gold is going to steadily go up, but I don't think silver, I think the ratio should be 16 to 1. And what 16 to 1 means, that's the historical ratio of silver to gold, means that for every 16 ounces of silver, you get 1 ounce of gold. But I think that, I mean, I'm waiting for a day where we see a 10 to 1 ratio. You know, I'm waiting for a day when silver actually gets the love it deserves as a monetary metal that's used for way more industrial cases than gold. It should be more like a 10 to 1 ratio rather than even a 16 to 1 ratio. But right now, I believe it's like a 60 to 1 ratio. I think that ratio continues to tighten. I think that silver becomes closer and closer to gold on that ratio. And I couldn't be more bullish on silver right now. I couldn't be more bullish on silver, couldn't be more bullish on platinum, and I couldn't be more bullish on Bitcoin. So I'd rather have those three with conviction than any speculative play. Now, does that mean that I'm willing to put like 5% of my net worth on speculative plays and play around with it? Maybe. I'm not doing it now. Maybe. Excuse me. Tesla's starting to interest me a little bit. If they convert more of their balance sheet into, into materials, into mines, into Bitcoin, I would be interested in getting into that stock because now it's not technically being valued in dollars. Well, it is valued in dollars, but the company owns assets that they could sell for more diluted dollars than they could have got before. It's kind of complicated economic type stuff, but it gets me interested to see companies starting to buy tangibles. Let's do a couple Q&As. I'm going to keep this live stream. We're at 41 minutes. I'm going to try to keep this live stream until we'll do about an hour, maybe a little bit less, but we'll do some Q&A right now, do some questions. we got the guy that's trying to give you his WhatsApp and whatnot in the comments. He gave me $1. It's crazy to me that people can actually use my profile image and my name. I made a couple posts about that just to aware the community, but be careful about the comments. The actual YouTuber, this isn't just myself. I see like Graham Stephan's channel and a lot of these big YouTubers and Andre's channel and these guys, they'll get their, and it's happening to me now, which is, it's kind of humbling. It's kind of humbling. I'm like a small YouTuber. I'm like, man, they're actually faking my name wow. That's something else, you know, but they fake the name, but make sure the way you look, if you know it's actually me, I would never solicit you in the comments. I would never put, come, text me on WhatsApp. Like, no, DM my actual Instagram, Rob Sultan on Instagram. If you have a question for me, that's how you reach out to me. And I actually am answering all my DMs on Instagram. If you go to @RobSultan on Instagram, no numbers, no underscore, anything, just Rob Sultan on Instagram. That's my Instagram handle. And shoot me a DM there. If I missed your question, I will get back to all my DMs on Instagram. I was down to like 72. Now it's back up to 92, but I am getting through them. At some point, I will get through all of my DMs on, if you have any questions about precious metals, any questions about my thoughts on something, shoot me a DM on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, @RobSultan on Instagram. And I will get back to you there at the DMs there, but I will never go and solicit you in a comment. I will never solicit you in a comment on YouTube. So that's the first thing. And this goes for all YouTubers. They usually don't do that. But check if the name is highlighted. If it's actually me in a comment down below, you'll see that the name is highlighted. And you'll see that in probably a lot of comments on this video, that my name will be highlighted on everything that I comment on. If it's a artificial account, it won't be highlighted. It'll just say, Rob Sultan, and it won't be a highlighted Rob Sultan. So that goes for Graham's channel, for Andre's channel, for Meet Kevin, all those guys. It'll have a highlighted, their name will be highlighted. And I hope YouTube is able to make it so that like somebody can't, maybe they take a copy of the image that I use for my profile image and they make it so other people can't take that same pixeled image or something. I don't know how they could fix this because people can just make a new account, but it's a long story. Long story short, make sure you really check in the comments what you are watching in the comments. He's saying thank you and gave me $10. At least that's pretty funny. I got to give it to you. That's pretty funny. Got an account with my name and he's giving me money on my live stream. Pretty impressive. That's kind of hilarious. That's kind of hilarious. I'll give you credit. That's pretty hilarious. That's funny. Let's check what silver's at. Silver's starting to show some movement. I mean, silver should be so far over 30. It should be so far over 30. It's ridiculous. It's just crazy to me to see it at 25.72. Keep in mind, I've been buying silver all throughout the teens in silver, and I have videos of that. It's in this. I don't mean to be like pat myself on the back sort of thing, but I think silver will be going up tremendously. And that goes back to buying with conviction. If I was buying silver, for example, and I was in the mid-teens, you know, at 14, 15, when it fell to 12 at the very beginning of all of this, look at the gain there. If you bought that, and I did, with conviction versus buying a very small amount of, say, Tesla or something, you wouldn't have gotten the same gain because I bought so much silver with conviction. Somebody that put $1,000 into Tesla or even $10,000 into Tesla, they might have got rewarded to the tune of $100,000, maybe even more than that, maybe a little bit more than that off of 10,000. But if I put $1 million on silver, you know, yeah, they made a lot more off a smaller amount of money, but they took a lot larger risk. I didn't think of it as a risk at all. And if my money nearly doubled, who made more money? You know, the percentage, I didn't make nearly the same percentage, but on the actual amount of money made, the person that buys something with major conviction and knows that they really believes in what they're buying, that person can make a tremendous amount of money with much less risk. That's my personal opinion on it. 2 weeks ago, JM Bullion got completely wiped out of platinum. Honestly, if you guys want to know a market that is extremely undervalued, platinum is such a better storage of value than gold, in my opinion. And it's so crazy to say that. I'm a precious metals dealer. I'm a full-time precious metals dealer, and I believe that platinum would be a much better storage of value than gold. It is a more noble metal. It is more dense. It is harder to refine. It is harder to mine. It's deeper in the Earth's crust. There's so much going for platinum. And the fact is, there's actually, what's so funny to me is the Mike Maloney argument is, oh, it can't be a monetary metal. There isn't enough of it. The funny part is, if he actually studied the amount of platinum in the crust, it's actually 6 parts per billion platinum. And people can go Google this. There is more platinum in the crust in the Earth. It's just really hard to get it. It's deep down in the Earth's crust, and it's hard to refine it. It's really a nuisance to refine it. You have to get it to over 3,000 degrees to melt it. It has an extremely high melting point. It's extremely hard to refine. So there's a lot of labor when you have a bar of platinum, which I do over there. You know, if you have, hang on, I'll show you. So if you have a bar of platinum, here's a PAMP 5-ounce platinum bar. There is so much more labor involved in making this into a platinum bar, mining, refining, and getting it into that than there is with this. The gold is much easier to mine, much easier to melt down, much less labor than it was to make this 5-ounce PAMP platinum bar. And I just think platinum is just so undervalued. It's ridiculous. And I still am a big fan of platinum, and I'm holding strong on my platinum positions. I don't really like selling platinum very much. I'm holding strong on all of my positions, and I honestly feel like large companies, they don't want to sell their inventory. So when you see a company saying we're out of platinum, they probably just bought high and they don't want to sell it. They're probably going, no, they want our platinum close to spot, but we're not willing to sell it close to spot. We believe platinum is worth 2,000 an ounce. I'm going to hang on to my platinum, you know. But that's something a small time guy like me at Mineral Exchange, I can tell you that because I'm the owner of a small company in precious metals. So I can tell you what I'm actually doing, and I'm not afraid to say that. I don't really want to sell our platinum. You know, our platinum position in the company, I'm like, I'm not selling it. If I call the shots around here, right? Yeah, we're not selling it. That's how I feel. You know, it's like I believe in it that much that I don't really want to sell it. I believe in holding on the current assets that we have, and then figuring out more along the logistics of the company and figuring out that kind of stuff right now, because I think it's ridiculously undervalued platinum. Platinum should be double the price of gold. in my personal opinion. I just think it's a far more noble metal. Well, it is, like literally it is a more noble metal. It is more dense, it is harder to refine, and it will withstand corrosion. It is divisible. It has all of the traits of money, just like gold does. There's actually a slightly bit more of it in the ground than gold. So if you did want it to be a monetary metal, it is capable of being mined. It's just harder to mine. The gold has just been sitting in vaults forever. There's a lot of it. There's not a lot of platinum. So I think I couldn't be more bullish on platinum. I couldn't be more. You need one metal that's like a dense storage of value, because I can't really, you guys can tell from that $100,000 video I did on silver where it's like $100,000 worth of silver. You can't really, take 400 pounds of silver with you in a backpack, unless you're like some supreme bodybuilder or something. It's like, I always joke around, if somebody wanted to take my stuff, they better be a bodybuilder. It's going to take you a minute. It's going to take you a minute, and them cops are going to be here real quick, so good luck. But with platinum, you can fit a large amount of it in a small place. You can put 100,000 worth of platinum. I mean, right here on the table, just these, and these are in plastic holders. I mean, you're talking $7,000 each minimum. So, I mean, there's a lot of money stored there, so you can use platinum as the storage of a denser storage of value than silver, but it's also an industrial metal. But what's so beautiful about platinum is really there's only about 35 billion of it in actual bullion form. I think there's been 350 billion worth of platinum mined, but the actual amount that's sitting in bullion form is very small. It's like an extremely small market. Could you imagine? I mean, you got tens of billions of platinum whereas you have 10 trillion of gold. Platinum is that small in comparison to gold. It's like in the tens of billions platinum, whereas gold is 10 trillion. So the market cap of platinum, the available platinum in bullion form, it's astounding. It's astounding how little platinum there is. You can fit all of the platinum mined ever. You can fit it in a small like garage. You can literally fit it in like a garage. That's how much platinum has been mined ever. So if they continue to use platinum in industrial cases, which I would imagine what they're using palladium for, they're going to start switching to platinum because it's so much cheaper. But just the storm, it's a perfect storm for silver and platinum right now. It couldn't be a more perfect storm. I hate to call it a perfect storm because it's terrible, everything that's happening, but people need a safe haven to go to. You don't want to, why would anybody want to work for money that they can print? Why? If you're getting paid, $4,000 a month, why would you want to get paid in something that's been this heavily diluted? It's just wild to me. It's absolutely wild to me. You can't print platinum. You can't print silver. Well, they can try to short it with printed contracts, but you can't put a contract in an electric car. You can't put a paper contract into a solar panel. You got to use it. You got to use the real silver. And eventually people are going to ask for delivery of silver, and more people are going to leave SLV and go into Sprott Silver Trust and go into PSLV instead, or buy the physical metal. But I can tell you this much, the physical metal is trading at a much, much, much higher premium than what we're seeing on the silver ticker price. The spot price is I actually haven't seen this big of a divide in premium versus spot price since the very beginning of everything that we're going through right now when it fell to 12. That's the only time I've seen premiums this high. So I'm curious what happens next. I really am. But you can't print precious metals. You can't print them. But yeah, the amount of platinum is, why aren't the wealthy buying platinum? Well, if pull up, we could pull it up right now. Pull up the 1 year, everybody that wants to pull this up, you can pull up the 1 year chart of platinum, even though platinum took a dip. Look at the 1 year chart on platinum here. Hang on. That's the 1 year chart on platinum. And it went from about 700. Actually, it was a little bit less than. I can't believe it was at 650 at one point. That was just giving it away. Just giving it away. I remember when that was going on in April. That's just insane. Can't believe it was at 650. That's almost 100% gain on platinum from that point. But let's look at the 1 year chart on gold. And this is the 1 year chart on gold. Platinum is actually a much better performer than gold. Gold was a bit under 1,600 at the same time that platinum was almost 650 at one point, 700. So 1,600 to 1,500 range. And now it's at 1,700. So where would you have rather enjoyed the gains? I mean, over the last year, platinum has very much so outperformed gold, and is slowly catching up to being as valuable as gold. So I would beg to differ. I think the wealthy are buying platinum. It's had a great year. So I mean, I care. I really do. I study the charts and study what's going on in the long term. In the short term, you might see a little bit of a pullback in platinum, but in the long term, over the year, platinum has been really going well. Yeah, Craig, I can't believe it either. I mean, everybody in the wholesale world and all the dealers I know, we were just like, nobody wanted to sell their platinum. When it was 650, people just didn't sell it. And that's what I think will continue to happen right now. We'll see these large companies, if we see metals where they shouldn't be, well, the people who actually have the metals are like, no, I don't want to sell you our metals. Like, you can tell us whatever you want. It's like, for example, say you're selling your car. Say you're selling your car and you have a really nice car, you've taken very good care of it, and somebody comes to you with a recent auction history on a car that's like $5,000 less than what you're willing to take. And they're like, but you have to sell it to me for this. You have to sell me your car because this history of the car is selling $5,000 less. You have to sell it to me for this price. If you own that car, you're going to be like, no, I don't. I don't believe that's right. I think the next auction is going to go up a lot more than that. I don't believe that. I don't believe the price that you're telling me. Where is this? This doesn't make sense to me. I am not willing to sell my car for this price. This is way too cheap for my car. That's how metals dealers feel about their silver right now. That's how metals dealers feel about their platinum right now, feel about their gold right now. They're like, they're telling me it's worth what? Yeah, we don't have it. Yeah, we don't have it. We're sold out. We're sold out. Yeah, we don't have it. You know, like you tell me where is it saying the sticker's at? Yeah, the London spot price. Yeah, we don't care. No, we're not selling. You know, that's pretty much what we're going to see with dealers, and it's actually a kind of patriotic thing to do. I mean, a lot of people are going to be trying to find silver, and they might see that as a negative thing, but the truth is, it's standing up. It's taking a stand and going, this isn't what silver should be. We're not willing to sell it at this price. It has to go up, and then we might sell it. And we might be able to get our supply channels to sell it as well. See, the problem is what you'll hear a dealer say is, I can't replace it for that price. So if I sell this to you at that price, I can't replace it. I can't make my thin margin because I can't replace it. You know, bullion dealers, they can operate on 1%, 2%. They can operate on very thin margins. But if they can't replace their product, then why would they operate on those thin margins? It doesn't make sense. The business side of it wouldn't make sense. And so if the supply chain is constrained and they can't provide it at the same price that the retail is asking for it, ironically enough, you'll start seeing the dealers paying more than the retail so that they can supply their retail because it's so constrained. As crazy as that sounds. It's just it's a very interesting time to navigate precious metals right now because people just don't want to sell, including myself. No, it just doesn't make sense to sell. But that's how it feels. Paul, yesterday I bought a 100-ounce Johnson Matthey from my silver dealer at $6 over spot. So in case you don't know, spot is like $25.70, $25.60. So, I mean, So you're paying, yeah, about $3,100. That's about the going rate of just your standard Johnson Matthey bar. Now, if you were in my Facebook group, you would have got a killer vintage bar for that same price today. That hurt my heart. I shouldn't have sold those. Win some, you lose some. You win some, you lose some. But I do those live auctions on Facebook, and yeah, sometimes I win, sometimes I lose. Today wasn't that great of a day. But if you want information on that, go to my Instagram at Rob Soltan on Instagram, and there's information in my bio on all of that. And you can shoot me a DM there with any questions that you might have about precious metals or anything like that. Really happy to help. And honestly, I'm just I say this a lot, and I don't mean it to sound cheesy, because if I repeat it too much, it takes away from it. But I really am humbled by this whole YouTube experience. I started this YouTube channel in July of last year, and it's been, what, 9 months now. To see my channel grow over 10,000 subscribers in less than a year, and to where we are today, and how great of a community we have. And honestly, we used to that was a term that I used to use, was you're a squirrel. Yeah, I know I'm a squirrel. It is what it is. And we turned that term that I use in the dealer world as, that person's a squirrel. You're a squirrel. It's like a joke among dealers, because if you don't want to sell your inventory, you're considered a squirrel. And then we said it's silver squirrel. So now we have a movement based off of an organic term that I used to use in the dealer world, has turned into this movement, silver squirrel movement. And it's just so awesome to see all of this. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here, everybody. If you're not part of the channel, please do click that red subscribe down below. It's totally free to do it. If you click the bell and all notifications, you'll be notified of all future videos on the live feed, or of the live feed of any videos that I post on this page. And I do my best to put content out there that actually helps people, and I hope that it helps people navigate or think about a perspective that they weren't thinking about before. All of my comments are completely open. I don't have a moderator for my live stream, so that you guys can all see every aspect of every different opinion, and I appreciate everybody for putting their comments in there. Please do make your voice heard, and so that we all can kind of learn together. There's a lot of stuff that I learn from the community here, and we all kind of learn together through these comment streams. And that's why I'm not willing, even if we have a spam, or even if we have somebody bad in the comments, it's better just to leave it, and so that we can all kind of learn who's a pumper, who's the real deal, what's going on. I don't want to moderate the comments. That's just how I feel about it. But sorry for rambling. But anyway, long story short, I really, really am humbled by how much this community has grown and the support I've gotten. And thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for being here. If these videos do help you, please do smash that like button. Please don't forget to smash that like button. It helps these videos reach out to more people. So if you could smash that like button, would really appreciate it. I said I was going to be in here for an hour. We're about at an hour right now on these live streams. For the people that don't get to view this live, or might be busy right now, might be too late for them, it's a Sunday night. I like to keep the live streams a little bit shorter. I don't want to go, to like 2-3 hours. I am going to do every Friday night. We did a vote, and we said that Friday night was the night, kind of by a landslide. Everybody said to do Friday night. Over 50% of people in that vote said Friday night. So every Friday night, we will do a live stream on this channel. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe, and look forward to that. Just click that red subscribe and the bell afterwards, and all notifications. You'll be notified of everything. Completely free to do that. But Friday night is going to be the night where we get together as Silver Squirrels. A lot of really cool plans for the channel and everything that I'm doing with my company. Been keeping a lot of things under wraps, but eventually I will let out all of the information on what I've been working on, and I'm really excited to share that with everybody. A lot of interesting stuff going on right now. But overall, to summarize this live stream, let's watch very carefully for what the stock market does. And I personally think, and there's a lot of channels that are like, oh, I'm going to lose all of my content if the stock market crashes. What am I going to talk about on my channel now? It's like, oh, I can't talk about Tesla and Apple and this and that and all these penny stocks. And it's like, I don't believe in artificially injecting money into a market to make artificial gains. It's like nails on a chalkboard in my head. It's taking away everything on what an economy is supposed to be. An economy is supposed to be producing things as labor, and then getting rewarded for that labor. There is no there is no exporting or importing of digitally injected money and tendies and all these like terms and diamond hands and all this. It's like there's no goods being made. Do we not live in a world where goods are made for returns? Like, is that, do we not have that anymore? Do we just think money just gets injected into the world for free? I mean, it's so wild to me. And the other aspect of it is I think that people need to understand that their wages are deflationary or stagnant at best, deflationary at worst. And the money that you're being compensated in for your labor, which is how an economy is supposed to work, you're supposed to give your labor and be rewarded for your labor. Well, the reward for your labor is diluted, but your labor is the same. You're working just as hard for the same amount of money, but the money itself was diluted. So how do you protect yourself? Well, you get that money and you play hot potato with it and put it into a stable place that you would rather be paid in. Would you rather be paid in silver? Would you rather be paid in platinum? Would you rather be paid in gold? Would you rather be paid in Bitcoin? Or would you rather be paid in diluted dollars that can be printed at will by the Fed and diluted by the banks giving out bad loans? You know, what do you want to be paid in? Well, that's what we should be doing with our dollars, in my opinion. You know, do you believe that the stock market only goes up? Companies should have 1,000x price to earnings ratios. You know, buying stocks is just not the same as it ever was. You know, it just it's all backwards. It's all backwards. And you know what? All I can do is make these videos and post them on my YouTube channel and put my information out there, and just hope that it helps some people. You know, I hope it helps some people. I hope all the comments and everybody being able to talk in the comments and everything. I hope that we can all help each other in these really troubling times, because I feel like we can help each other a lot more than those bingo players can help us. I think we can help each other a lot more than the bingo players can, because we got to pay for those bingo players to play bingo over there. You know, that's what we have to spend this $1,400 bill on, is to pay for them. They get paid a lot of money to be bingo players over there in Washington. It's makes me sick. Yeah, that's how I feel about the situation. It's just so wrong. It's so wrong. Eric Hoffner says Tesla would lose money without the government. I think in the beginning you were right, because they had those certain they had benefits for making electric cars. But I think now they've done, with a brilliant thing about Tesla that makes me interested in Tesla. And I'm not interested in any stocks. The only thing that interests me about Tesla is that it's such a genius move that they did those secondaries. And I tried to talk about that GameStop should have done that. You know, right now, GameStop should be doing that. Like right now, if you're on the executive team of GameStop, you guys should be putting together a way to do a secondary. You guys should be taking in as much as those tendies as you possibly can into your treasury right now, because your stock is wildly overvalued. I would be doing a secondary as fast as possible. But Tesla actually strengthened their company by taking money off the table from the stock market. They have a huge treasury now. You know, GM, I was just talking about this with my good buddy Ryan. And, you know, GM is, people can think that GM is a better play than Tesla, for example, because it might have a better price to earnings ratio. But the truth is GM can't buy a 10 billion position in anything. They don't have 10 billion sitting in the reserves. Tesla has $15 billion of liquid capital to do whatever they want with. They took that money off the table. So their treasury is so strong right now at Tesla, and they are making profit on their cars. And so it's like, okay, well, they have the ability to do whatever they want right now because they have the capital. You know, cash is king in a certain way if you have a plan with it. Cash isn't king if you're sitting on it, because it just gets diluted. But it's king if you have a plan. If you have a strategy on what to do with that cash, then you're in the king's seat. And I think Tesla has a big strategy on what to do with their cash. And I'm curious to see what that strategy is. So far, we're seeing them they're starting to dip into mining, just like we talked about on this channel. They started to get into Bitcoin, just like we talked about on this channel in these live streams, ironically enough. And all these videos are posted. So people can go through these old videos and they're all posted. But I'm going to watch Tesla very close, because if they're smart with all this news of the stimulus package and all the dilution of the dollar, if they're smart, they're going to move that treasury into places where they can use that capital to its best advantage. Like what is the best possible thing that we can be doing with this $15 billion worth of capital? Those are the questions that are going to be running through all the executives and the CFO and all those guys' minds over at Tesla. What do we do with this capital? And is it a better use to do this? And I mean, 9.9 out of 10 times, it's a better use to do something else with that cash than to sit on that cash. So you want to do something with it. The question is, what do you want to do with it? And so let's watch Tesla very close on what they do with that capital. Personally, I think they I think they get into mining. I think they continue to get more into mining, whether that be they just got into mining nickel, which is a very interesting thing to look into. All my fellow silver squirrels out there, look into nickel a little bit, because they got into mining nickel and they said it's because it's harder and harder to get nickel. Well, that's interesting. What's going on with that? So that's the first thing that they did, is out of distraction, because Elon Musk loves to put on distractions. But I'm watching very closely on what they do with that capital. So I think they're going to go into mining, and that might be mining Bitcoin, as I've talked about in a video. I think that they are going to go into being an internet provider. I think Tesla will be an internet provider in the future. I think Tesla will have Tesla Internet. That's what I really, in my heart, I genuinely believe that Starlink was, like, the whole Mars thing was kind of a facade to get everybody excited about rocket travel. And then they made money off the contracts. They needed money to do rocket travel, obviously. So they got the contracts and took it away from Boeing. They got the contract to go to the space station. So they got the billions that way by getting the contract just to do the space station stuff. But the real goal, now that they have the capital, and Elon Musk has a ton of capital now, is to put up their own satellite system and have universal internet. That's way better than ever before. You know, I think the internet is something that, like, internet itself, the ability for high-speed internet, is something that can be dramatically evolved from where we are. I think that technology it has a lot of improvements to be made with it. And I think putting satellites, more of them, in the atmosphere and having them, going around the Earth, it makes it so it's impossible to take down the internet. Imagine if you have solar panel batteries attached to satellites, and many of them hovering around the planet. Well, they have electricity, and the internet can be on in the sky. So you might have a temporary outage down on Earth, but that would essentially make it so the internet could never go down. And that would basically make it so Bitcoin would never be able to be stopped in a way. And so there's, like, part of me wonders, are they going to capitalize on it? And then also, by the way, here's another interesting thing. I was going to make a video on this, but we'll drop it at the end of this live stream. People were talking about the power outage situation. Well, what happens in an electric car? You have a lot of power stored in that electric car, to the tune of like a week of energy storage in that electric car, right? So if you had a temporary power outage, but your car was attached to Tesla Internet and it had electricity in the car, you get where I'm going here? That car itself would never not have internet and never not have electricity. It would always have a storage of electricity and a connection to the internet if Tesla had an internet provider. Could you imagine how proprietary that would be, Tesla Internet? People are wondering, like, why I think Tesla is going to continuously just dominate the electric car scene. It's like, okay, well, where are the other electric cars going to get their batteries? And what happens if Tesla comes out with their own internet service and all their cars are connected to the internet and their own internet service at that? That's way faster and way better than everything else. It's like, brilliant. Sounds like a pretty brilliant decision. Kind of like Tesla buying a bunch of silver right now. It sounds like a brilliant decision as well. You know, kind of a little idea I had. If you keep me going, I'll start ranting a little bit too much. I was going to do this one at an hour. We're already an hour 13 minutes. So let's go ahead and let's get to the end of this live stream. You guys know me and know I'll ramble on forever if I don't stop it. So thank you all so much for being here. If you could do me a favor before we sign out here to all the 350 people in the live stream, if you could, I would really appreciate it if you could smash that like button. If you smash that like button, it really does help the videos with the YouTube algorithm, and it gets this video out to more people. So please do smash that like button. If you got some value from the video and you want other people to get value from the videos and you want to help the channel, please do smash that like button. It really means a lot to me. Thanks again for being part of the community. If you're not subscribed, click that red subscribe button down below. It's totally free to do it. We'd love to have you in the community, and all of us in the comments over here would love to have you in the community as well. Thank you again. Thank you. Signing out. I will see you on Friday. Every Friday, I'm going to do a live stream, and I'm also going to be doing videos during the week, but I plan to do a more consistent schedule just so we all kind of know what's going on rather than me impromptu going live all the time. But I do plan to do a lot of the impromptu stuff too because I'm a squirrel. I can't help it. Thanks again, everybody. Signing out.